This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Joining me now is John Brummett with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving, John. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was lovely. I cooked some good stuff. I ate some good stuff. I had women in my life with me for a day of connection and reflection. It was a lovely day and a pretty day. It was kind of
I'm most interested in, did the dogs get something special for Thanksgiving?
They always do. They always do. They had special costumes. I did not put them on them.
Oh, really?
And they got a lot of smoked turkey pinched off and pitched to them. They're terribly spoiled, and we're horrible parents. But we have happy dogs, so that's one thing.
All right, let's move and talk some politics here. The president continues in some sort of fantasy world that the election results are going to be overturned. I guess my question to you is, do you really think he believes that the election is going to be overturned, or do you think that he is just kind of stringing his base along so that he can keep himself available as a potential future candidate and get some more money off of him?
I think it's all of that. I think he's stringing his base along. I think he's raising money. I think he's keeping himself alive for to be the grand poobah of the Republican Party after his presidency and be the inevitable or the fateful Republican nominee in 4 years, if he's still interested in 4 years. I think he's also trying to delegitimize the Biden presidency by casting aspersions or doubt on whether its victory was solid. I think he's keeping the Trump base inspired. But I think from time to time, he probably thinks, I really did get cheated. I think just today, I saw I don't believe he was, but I think probably as part of his grandiose thinking, a piece just moved about the Secretary of State of Georgia, saying that he's opening an investigation into allegations that Democratic voter registration groups have been encouraging people outside of Georgia to register for the Senate runoff, and he's going to investigate that. As soon as I read that, I'm thinking two things. One, they shouldn't be doing that, and that ought to be investigated. And two, Trump's going to say, well, they probably did that on me. I think we'll hear that from him. See, they're having to investigate it. They should have investigated it before. I think he probably believes some of that happened. Doesn't matter. In his race, he lost, and the courts are rebuffing him. But just to consider all the things going on in that peculiar mind, I think that's probably in there.
So Trump has said that he may announce that he is going to run again in 2024 during the Biden inauguration, which would be pretty much on brand for Trump to do something like that.
It would be.
I mean, speak to that issue, number one, but number two, it kind of boxes out the Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, Mike Pence. It boxes all of the potential 2024 candidates out.
You will remember, I think, that he announced Trump 2020's formation on the day of his inauguration in 2016, when, by the way, he had the largest crowds ever, he said. So that would be on brand to sort of advance this narrative that, hey, I really ought to still be there because I won. And just like on this date 4 years ago after I won, I announced again, I'm going to do that this time. Plus, he would like to show total disrespect for the Biden inauguration, show total disregard for courtesy, for the kind of respectful transition of power that has preceded him, because he is not a respectful person. He is a person with an ego disorder. So yeah, I think probably that'll be the time that he will do it. If he could get away, if he might have a rally somewhere during the inauguration.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all.
Anything to keep Joe's ratings down and to protect Trump's record of having had the largest crowd ever. Of course, Biden can't approach that because of the coronavirus, so that would have an asterisk.
Correct.
Right.
All right. So Joe Biden, the president-elect, has been making some announcement of some potential appointments. Is there any particular appointment that you may be watching for, or one that's already out there that you find peculiar or interesting?
Not so much. There is one I'll mention, but generally his appointments have interested me in that they are largely on the foreign policy front. There are a lot of Obama people. You would expect that, I think. He was vice president in the Obama administration. He's availing himself of that experience. It also is an international view or a world view, and America's cooperative place in it. That was a signature of Obama that will be restored as a signature of America to undo Trump's America First. We don't care to be in NATO or any of these agreements, that kind of thing. So I think that's the most encouraging thing so far for me, a return to normalcy and to America as a partner in the progressive world. I am kind of interested in how he does the office of Attorney General for this reason. I think we've all been newly educated in the Trump administration to the stress points between a political office, a president, appointing the head of the supposedly what we have long claimed to be somewhat independent Department of Justice, and how that, and of course Trump flouted that. And I think Biden, I'm thinking he will want to pick someone with whom he absolutely has no association. I even thought he might consider delegating the appointment in some way to a group. I'm just interested in how he approaches that. It's not, Trump didn't start this closeness between the presidency and the attorney general. John F. Kennedy put his own kid brother in as attorney general. So, but Trump has brought, Trump's brazen disregard for any even pretense of ethical propriety in that regard or separation has put it in the forefront of my mind, at least, and to see what Biden's going to do with it.
All right, let's talk some vaccine politics here. We seem to have a couple of potential vaccines are making their way to the forefront. We're starting to see some of the logistics of how vaccines are going to get distributed. I think we'll learn more a little bit later in the week about what may happen in Arkansas and across the nation. I guess, first of all, are you planning on getting a vaccine? When will you get one?
I would be the second person to get one if they would let me. As long as Dr. Fauci was first, I would be the second. And I make that public offer to be second after he does. Yeah, I'm going to get one. Anybody, I think people ought to get them. There's the politics of it. I'm already getting this thing. I got an interesting email yesterday. Hey, Brummett, I hope you ride herd on the governor and the legislature to make sure they don't get to the front of the line on these vaccines so they can have their session without worry about COVID. It'll be about like them to take the vaccines right off the top for themselves. So people are thinking about these kinds of things. And I think that's sort of an interesting question. Is there any privilege asserted in who gets it? But the stated way that's going to be done, and we'll have to see the execution, is that the first batch of vaccine will be substantial and it will come quickly to the states, and the states will be in charge. And nursing home residents and staff go first. As the son of a 90-year-old, wonderful 90-year-old Arkansas woman in a nursing home that calls every 2 or 3 weeks and says they've had another case, I'm all for that, for the patients, for the residents and the staff. And after that, I'm thinking, and medical personnel, of course they go first. And after that, persons over 65, including those just barely over 65, such as myself, we would go next. That doesn't seem fair. And if I don't understand not getting a vaccine if it's been tested at 95% approval and 95% effectiveness and safety. So yeah. What about you? Will you be in line when it gets down to the young people?
Yeah, the very young people.
Right.
I'll probably be in that category there. So, So obviously you're not advocating that the Razorback football team be first in line to get this vaccine. So
I had not even considered that prospect, but now I'm thinking, yeah, the week of the Alabama game, if a couple of key players, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a tough call, isn't it?
I think David's in that over 65 crowd already. So,
No, I'm not advocating that. Not at all. No.
So tell me, as we close up here, what bowl game do you think the Razorbacks ought to go to? Sam Pittman said that 3-win Razorback team is good enough to go to a bowl game this year.
Roby, you're going to have to help me out on this answer. Are they having the bowl games?
I believe they are. Yes,
all of them. And are they suspending the rule? They're suspending the rule about 6 wins because nobody's played a full schedule.
I believe they are. Yes,
to the point that some team, say 4-6, like Arkansas might be, they're beating Missouri and losing to Alabama, could go to a bowl game.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Which bowl do you want them to go to?
Well, they're not going to go to a big good one with a 4-6 record. But we've had a lot of fun and some success in the Texas Bowl down in Houston and the Liberty Bowl over in Memphis, although it's outdoors. And the last time they were there, everyone nearly froze to death. That would be sort of the speed, I would think. Always, as a 66-year Arkansas resident who goes back to SWC days, I always think of the Cotton Bowl, just culturally, as the ideal destination. But I think they got to be a little better than 4-6 to go to that.
No, the Dallas Cowboys in that same stadium as the Cotton Bowl, and they're nowhere near 4-6.
And they're not going to go to a bowl game, I don't think, even though they're in their division race because it's such a horrible division.
Well, see, and that just opens up a whole nother conversation that we don't have time for today. So,
well, I'm glad to help out on the sports, and thanks for filling me in with enough facts that I was able to give you an answer to that question. I had been wondering about bowl games, and I'm glad to know it.
Well,
4-6 could go to a bowl game. 3-7 could go to a bowl game.
Go Wally Hall when we get done here and get you more up to speed. Okay.
Okay, I will.
He's John Brummett with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.